I'm Cristina Rendon with KTVU Fox 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we're joined by Christine Rose Brown, a yoga instructor. Thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we want to know all about your studio. Where do you work, and how has it been during this crisis?
Well, I work at a yoga studio based in Fresno, California, Fresno and Clovis. Yeah, so we have two studios, and this whole crisis has totally rattled our operation. We try to stay open for as long as we could, but then it got to a point where, the shelter in place order happened, and we, want to follow the rules, obviously, and we wanted it to keep all of our employees safe and our students as well. So with our studios being closed, we just don't have a way to work with our students the way we want to. But we've all gotten creative. The fitness industry is totally, getting creative and finding ways to stay engaged with our students, which is what we have done at our studio.
Okay, so what exactly are you doing? What are those creative ways?
We're holding virtual classes live. We're also doing pre-recorded segments so that our students and members of our community, or anybody with the internet, really can just join in and take yoga classes, Pilates classes that we normally offer in real life. Now they get to do virtually.
Awesome. And I know this is kind of an unprecedented time. A lot of people are doing these virtual classes. I mean, when you first started, did you ever think we'd be here? I mean, how many years have you been doing this? Give us your background.
I've been doing yoga for 10 years. I've been teaching for 8, and I made teaching my full-time career. So this is literally what I do every single day. I go to the studio, I get to interact with students, and that's part of the joy of being a yoga instructor, not just helping people along their journey, but also helping people feel comfortable with their own bodies and, helping guide them into postures safely. And so now that we're in this phase of, we're all staying at home, we're all secluded in a way, it's definitely made my job a little bit more challenging, but I'm just grateful that we get to reach out to our students virtually. We get to teach them, we still get to interact with them. It's not exactly the same, but at the end of the day, we're still guiding them and allowing them to move in the way that they want.
How difficult was it to make that decision? I know, like, when the order comes down, everyone has to stay at home, but I'm assuming that the business has taken a financial hit. Do you know if it was, are people still getting charged their monthly subscriptions, or how is all that working?
The studio that I work for, my bosses have kept the students' memberships active, and they have the option to cancel their memberships or freeze them for the time being. But luckily, a lot of our students want to support our studio, all of our instructors, so some of them are keeping their memberships active. And in exchange, we're giving them virtual classes so that they're not really missing out on their practice, because they get to join in with us when we have our live classes, or anytime they tune into our YouTube channel, they can practice at their own time.
Sounds good. And so, I mean, I would assume that if you are a regular yoga practitioner, or would I say yogi,
Mm-hmm.
that what you learn in class probably is paying off now, because so many people are cooped up at home. I mean, what kind of techniques and like different ways does it help you discipline yourself in a time like this?
Yeah, at a time like this, first of all, it's important more than ever to maintain a regular yoga practice, right? So for our students who have been coming to the studio, who go every single day, they want it. They want to continue to move their bodies in the way that they normally did when their studios were open. But now that people are at home, they have nothing else to do. People are watching TV, people are picking up new hobbies. This is a great time for people who have never explored yoga to just, try it out. They get to be in the comfort of their own home. They can practice whenever they want, and they don't have to be nervous about, being embarrassed, because that's a thing. People are nervous about a group setting. So this is, now that studios are closed, not just ours, but all studios everywhere, there's so many options online for people to explore. And that's the cool thing about yoga. Yoga has so many layers. There's so many different styles. It's not a practice that has to be complicated at all. It's awesome. And yoga's for everybody.
I would say that's me, the person who's worried about what other people think when they're trying to do things. Because I've done yoga once or twice. I've tried to take some Pilates classes, but you're right. I mean, even though you're there in the class and you're spaced out, you have room to do your own thing. Like, I still feel like people are watching when you really should just be concentrating on what you're doing, right?
Totally. And that comes with practice. You know, the more you practice, the more you roll out your mat. Really, like, getting to class is the hardest part. Showing up for yourself is the hardest part. But once you know, get through and, you know, reveal that first layer, then you start to get comfortable with your breath. Then you start to get comfortable with the different shapes that your body is capable of doing. And when you're at home, like, you don't need to worry about those external forces that could be distracting or, you know, getting in the way of the way you want to move.
Yeah. And so then I guess that's probably one of the biggest things for people at home now when they're taking these virtual classes. Do you think that this is going to be something that carries into the future when the stay-at-home orders are lifted? Do you feel like this is going to change the industry?
Well, I feel like it already has. Virtual classes have already been a thing pre-COVID-19, but I think now it's just like it's boomed. Like, studios had no choice but to jump in on this, otherwise they would be missing out. So for our studio, we didn't offer virtual classes before. And so now that we have done it, we have the tools, we know what it takes to hold classes live, to record classes virtually and, you know, save them for later. We're definitely going to keep it up because at the end of the day, people don't have time to practice at the exact time that we want to offer our live classes. So to be able to give them the option to practice at 3 a.m. if they want, you know, then we're happy to be able to provide that.
Have there been any challenges that you've seen from working from home during this stay-at-home order?
Okay, so there are pros and there are definitely cons. So the same thing that I was just talking about, being able to practice and teach whenever I want is awesome. But I do have 2 dogs. So they are I don't want to say they're temperamental, but, you know, sometimes they have something they want to talk about, or sometimes they'll bark during a time where I'm asking my students to be calm and to be quiet. So that's actually happened once before. Luckily, my students weren't upset. They're dog parents too, so they were cool. But yeah, that's the only thing. Working from home is great. And what I love about, I don't want to say what I love about this situation, but it's opened up doors for so many people who don't have a regular home practice, you know? So now that people are doing it, hopefully they'll be able to continue that once the shelter in place order is lifted.
If people are at home watching and they've never stepped on a mat, they've never tried yoga before, what advice do you give them?
Okay, first advice, you don't even need a mat, okay? You can do yoga anywhere, anytime, and don't be nervous. It's one of those things where you just have to be comfortable with your breath and just get in touch with the way your body can move, and everything will be just fine. Just know that when you go into your postures, you're going to end up feeling better at the end of it, and that should be enough to encourage you to just try it out.
Is there more than just physical benefits? Are there mental benefits as well to practicing yoga?
100%. And that's like the biggest thing that we try to, you know, let our students know, and people especially who have never done yoga. Yoga is so much more than a physical workout. When you're doing yoga, as I already mentioned, you're working with your breath. It is the actual definition of yoga is a union between your mind, your body, and your spirit. So it's mindful movement. It's a meditative thing for you as well. So there are so many components and so many benefits beyond the physical, for sure. And breathing in itself, just having good control of your breath and knowing how to breathe, can do so much to relieve anxiety, to de-stress your body, which everybody everywhere right now is going through it, right? So I think more than ever, as I mentioned, just practicing your breath can do so much for everybody.
Okay, then let's get to it. I want you to show me some ways that people at home can relax and kind of do some exercises while they stay at home.
All right, let's do it. Are you going to get on your mat?
I can if you'd like, or we can sit down. Should we sit or stand?
Let's definitely sit. I'm going to get onto my mat too. So as I mentioned, yoga is so much more than just the physical practice. I wanted to teach you some breathing techniques that are going to be really good to help you calm your mind, calm the rest of your body, and just help you disconnect from the stresses of your everyday life. So just as you come onto your mat, or if you're just sitting on your carpet, that's perfect too. Just allow your hips to sink into the mat and take some time to sit still with your shoulders over your hips. Close your eyes and then just notice what it feels like to be on your mat and in this present moment. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears. And then as you sit up tall, feel the crown of your head reach up towards the ceiling. So you want to sit up, proper posture, your chest slightly open. So the breathing exercise that we're going to do is just going to challenge you to breathe slowly in through your nose and out through your nose. So wherever you are with your breath, just exhale through your nose now. And then try to inhale for a count of 4. As you exhale through your nose, do that for a count of 4 as well. And then just repeat the same thing. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 4. And so that technique in itself should have already made you feel a little bit more calm. And so I always, whenever my friends ask me for help with breathing, I give them breathing homework. The challenge is to do maybe 2 to 5 minutes of mindful breathing. I gave you a 4 count hold, but you can go for 5 seconds, maybe even 6. So the more comfortable you get doing it, the longer you'll be able to hold your breath. And you'll notice a difference. How did you feel when you did it?
At first, I was concentrating to make sure I was counting in 4 and counting out 4 with my breath. But by the 3rd or 4th time, I was getting very relaxed.
Good. Yeah. But when you're counting how long it takes to do your inhales and exhales, that means you're doing it right. And that already allows you to check out from anything else that was already on your brain, right? That's the secret.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the homework. So try that out. Next time you are at the grocery store and you're feeling stressed out, just stop where you are and go to your slow breathing, and then everything will seem fine. So that was the first thing that I wanted to show you. You can do that anywhere. You can do it in a car. You can do it when you're cooking. And then I just wanted to take you through some stretches that you can do exactly like this in a seated position.
Okay.
Keep your hips on the floor, and then continue to sit up straight. Pull your belly in, and then feel your chest expand with every inhale. As you exhale again, shoulders come down away from your ears. As you inhale, bring your arms up and overhead. Reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your right hand down. Reach your left arm up and over. So you want to press your left hip into the floor. Feel the stretch down your left side body as you reach your fingertips over to the opposite edge of your mat. Awesome, Cristina, you're doing great. Inhale here. And as you exhale, reach a little bit more. Keep your hips on the mat. Bend your right elbow. Awesome. And then release. Come right back up. Extend your right hand up. Bring your left hand down. And then go for the other side. Just reach. So you want to keep your chest lifted. You're doing fantastic. Maybe look toward your right elbow. Bend your left elbow here to take the stretch deeper. Perfect. Release. Come right back up. Reach your arms up and then interlock all 10 fingers like this.
Okay.
You want your palms to face up and then reach them up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, feel your chest lift. And as you exhale, bring your left hand onto your right knee, your right hand behind you, and then twist. So you want to press into your right knee, look past your right shoulder. You're doing so good. Sit up a little bit taller, and then press your hand into your knee. Look back behind you as you exhale, and then release. Come right back up. Reach your arms towards the ceiling. Right hand goes onto your left knee. Left hand goes behind you, and then do the same thing. You twist. Look past your left shoulder. So you want to stay tall here with your spine. Keep your core engaged by sucking your stomach in. Look back and exhale. Release. Reach your arms right back up. And then place your hands onto the floor. Keep your hips on the mat and then just walk your fingertips forward little by little. Perfect. So now you should feel a little bit of a release in your lower back. Awesome. Drop your head down just a little bit and then continue to walk your fingertips forward a little bit more. Exactly. Send your breath to your back body so your shoulders are opening up. Maybe bend one elbow at a time to continue to stretch your side body. Great job. I hope you're breathing, Cristina.
I'm trying.
And then release. Slowly walk your hands right back. Place them on your knees. Perfect. And then now just roll over onto your hands and your knees. I don't know how comfortable you feel about doing a couple of rounds of cat-cow.
Sure.
Cat-cow. So yeah, turn to the side. Perfect. So you want your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. This is going to allow you to lengthen your spine and then also open up your front side body. So to go into your cow pose, you're just bringing your belly down towards the floor. Look up towards the ceiling. Allow your tailbone to lift. And as you exhale, pull your belly in, round your spine, bring your chin to your chest. Press your hands and your knees into the floor. So good, Cristina. Inhale, go right back into your cow. Drop your belly down a little bit more. Look up a little bit higher. And then as you exhale, go right into your cat. So good. Chin to chest. Press your hands, your knees into the floor. Feel your shoulder blades separate. And then come right back into your tabletop position. So shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. And then you can just sway your imaginary tail side to side to loosen up your hips. Roll your neck around. And there's so many other postures that you can do from here. Downward dog, you can go into that shape. Different flows all start from your tabletop position and downward dog. There's so much that I could show you, but it's all over the internet. My yoga studio, as I mentioned, has a YouTube channel, so we've got tons of different classes to choose from. And yeah, for yogis of all levels.
That's awesome. I mean, any parting thoughts that you have about people who are just at home and they're maybe scared or they're anxious about what's going on? You know, what advice would you give them?
Biggest advice is just to breathe. It's so simple and it's something that you already do every day, but just being mindful of how you're breathing can cause a dramatic shift in how your day turns out. So focus on your breath, practice some breathing exercises, and then slowly start to transition some movements with your breath, and you'll notice a difference right away.
And how do we end our class?
How do we end our class? Okay.
Yeah.
Find your seat, crisscross applesauce is perfect. Okay. Bring your arms up, palms touch, and then slowly bring your hands to heart center. Press your thumbs into your chest. Namaste.
Namaste. Cristina Rose Brown, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.